All right, so welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call powered by FanDuel Sportsbook. And we're taking your phone calls on the Borders & Borders hotline at 412-575-2600. Let's go out to Mike in Oakland. What's up, Mike?
My man Rich, listen, the Battling Buccos, they're back, baby.
They're back. I got Bucco fever, Mike. I don't know about that, but yeah.
I don't have it. I don't think you do either. No, I actually wanted to change a rare call without discussing the Battling Buccos. I want to talk about my Pitt Panthers, your Pitt Panthers. Listen, I agree with you, Rich. You know, Xavier Johnson, the first half and a little bit of the second half, he was phenomenal. And then the last few minutes, that three-point shot that he took. What
was he thinking? He loses his mind at the end of games.
Yeah,
and if this guy thinks he's going to leave early and go to the NBA, I don't know who in the world is giving him that advice.
I agree, and I mean his shot form needs work. I hope in the off season they try to get a coach to teach him how to shoot better because he's not very good on the shooting side. But then there's McGowan. There's a lot of rumors that he might transfer. I mean, I don't know if you agree with me, Rich, but I'll let you discuss it when I finish. But I don't think he's really has a good attitude lately. I mean, he looks angry. He's selfish. He never passes. Do you see Justin Champagnie? He was pissed off at him because he was wide open for a three late in the shot clock, and McGowan's just tried to throw up a prayer. It's just not good. So I want to get your thoughts on McGowan's. And thanks for everything, buddy.
You know, that's what happens when you lose, and you lose 6 straight. I mean, things were good for the Panthers at the start of the ACC schedule. They look like they might have been a 500 team, and now they only have 6 wins. Hey, look, they're better off than they were last year and the year before that and the year before that. But they're on their way up. Look, I'm not going to diss this team right now. It has some ways to go, and I think if all these guys come back next year, it's going to be a pretty formidable team, and I would imagine that they would have a winning record in the ACC. Maybe 11-9, something like that. But I think they would be right in the middle of the pack, and they would win some games, especially with one more year for Xavier Johnson, one more year for Trey McGowan. I think it would be a mistake if McGowan leaves right now. Justin Champagnie, and you got some guys coming in here. I think Jeff Capel's a great recruiter, and he's going to get guys here. So if you can get these guys to their senior year, this team could be pretty good and maybe get into the NCAA tournament in 2 years. I don't think that's out of any question at all that they potentially could get to the tournament in 2 years. This year, people were hoping NIT. That's not going to happen right now unless for some reason that they would go to the ACC championship game, and I don't think that would happen. But, I think Pitt is going to be better next year. They're steadily going to get better. And I would hate to see, not only for Pitt, I would hate to see Johnson and McGowan leave. But for both of those guys, I mean, if they think that they're going to be drafted in the NBA, I don't know who's telling them that. And, I've seen a lot more better players than both of those guys that I would draft if I had an NBA team. So I kind of hope that they realize that they might not be NBA players yet, but they might be eventually. I just don't think it's this year. Let's go out to Jerry in Hempfield. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, Rich. Hey, I've talked to you quite a few times.
Yeah, I know, Jerry. You're my man.
Okay. Now, with the Pirates, when you just have a program that's nothing but the Pirates, I won't be able to call in and talk to you because, to me, the Pirates are a dead end. It's next year, next year, next year. It's never going to end.
Yeah.
So if I can call in and talk about something else.
Go ahead, man. It's your show. I want callers to call in with whatever questions that they want. Okay. I just go with news of the day topics at the beginning of the show.
I like to give you something interesting to talk about instead of just the Pirates.
Go ahead.
They're bad.
Go ahead. We all know, but that's the kind of calls we get here. So
I know, but I like to give you something interesting and something different that you enjoy discussing.
Go ahead.
Instead of the same old, same old. Okay?
Yeah.
So I really enjoy talking to you. I just want you to know that. So if I get something to call that makes you interested, put me on to talk to you, okay, buddy?
Do it. Yeah, anything that's timely, call in. I encourage anyone to call in with whatever that they want to talk about. So I appreciate the call, Jerry.
Thanks. A good evening, buddy.
You too. Thanks for being a loyal viewer of this show. Let's go out to Beatrice in Wilkinsburg. How you doing, Beatrice?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Rich. How you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
No problem. Thank you for calling.
You're quite welcome. You guys put on such a beautiful show. But I'm really, really concerned about Ben in a sense. Every time he go to play, he always get hurt.
Well, Beatrice, he hasn't been hurt in quite a while, an injury like this. So he is getting old. You know, you're pushing 40. You know, I mean, I know what that's like. So that things are gonna go wrong and they're gonna go south. That's why guys can't play beyond 40. So he's 38. He had this elbow surgery, and I heard that he's gonna come back. That this should not inhibit him in any way throwing the football. That he will be 100% the way he was before the injury. Now, Kevin Colbert, if you watch the news, I had a soundbite with him, and you'll hear part of that interview coming up on KDKA at 11 o'clock. But Kevin Colbert thinks that he might come back better than ever, not only with his arm, but also more motivated. And I could see that. He's a fiery guy. He's a competitive guy no matter what it is. And I can't see him sitting back and letting everyone say he doesn't have it anymore. You know, how he talks about the old gunslinger. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a really good season this year, Beatrice. I actually am leaning towards him having a good season. And look, if Ben Roethlisberger is good, the Steelers are going to be good. So I would not count the Steelers out. I still think they would have been a 10-win team at least with Ben Roethlisberger last year. And that defense is really good. They haven't lost much. Yes, they struggle in the run game, but the pass game would be so much better with Ben back there. So, we'll see what happens. But let's get out to one more phone call before we do our tweet of the night. Let's go out to Jason in Plum. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Richie. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Where's Paul tonight? Your sidekick.
Paul, my sidekick, he has a night off. Oh, Paul,
right,
my
go.
sidekick, Paul, he has a night off too.
There.
I know.
Hey,
I don't know what he's
real
doing.
Quick. What happened with the Patriots and the second Spygate? And where's Clint Hurdle nowadays?
Well, Clint Hurdle, first of all, the Patriots in the second Spygate, nothing really happened to him. You saw. They're still investigating, I guess. I haven't seen anything, heard anything about it. It's kind of been swept under the rug, but maybe something will come out during the owners' meetings, which would be the end of March-ish. As for Clint Hurdle, he's living in Florida. He's actually living in the Bradenton area right now. Cool. So he's not in baseball. I don't know if he's
watching you every night, Richie. Thank you.
Thank you for calling, Jason. I appreciate it. All right, we got a Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the night, and we'll go out to Jeremy Hillman, who tweeted me, what Pirates starting pitcher do you think will have the best season this year? I'm going to have to go with Joe Musgrove. I don't know if any of them are going to have a great season, but I think Joe Musgrove, I like his attitude, especially on the mound. He's competitive, like we were talking about Ben Roethlisberger. You know, I could see Joe Musgrove and have a pretty good season. I mean, he had a good season last year. The Pirates were bad. It's going to be something similar to what he had last year. So I would think that Joe Musgrove would be the best Pirates starting pitcher. I mean, the Pirates are hoping and banking on Chris Archer having a good first half so they can trade him. I know that for sure. All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.
Portions of this program sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook.